Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Andrew, back with another review. This time we'll be talking about Hell on Wheels, Season 1, Episode 10, God of Chaos. Since this is the last episode of the season, I'm going to break it down into characters instead of going down the actual storyline. Wrapping up Elam's character. Apparently, he has gotten a bit too big for his britches, as he decides that since the doc is now having him in this higher position, he apparently is more of the boss of the black guys, and he makes a comment to the whore about how he has his money in his own pocket. This kind of comes back to bite him ever so slightly, because when he asked the whore to be his in the previous episode, she was thinking, oh, he wants to marry me, and he was not looking at it in that direction. So that causes a rift between them two, and she actually, during a dance, begins dancing with the guy he had actually shot in the mouth and who had came back. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works off, but she plans on staying. They are now building an actual town where the Hell on Wheels is currently at, and she doesn't want to move. She wants to stay there. She wants to maybe start a family, be in the house, because she looks at it, she no longer wants to be the whore. And the other guy may potentially even see her as such potential overall wifey material. He, of course, at the end, though, is about 20-30 feet from a tree with a pan attached to it, and he is nailing them shots. So where I feel part of me wants to kind of go against him because he's being very cocky, he is backing that up with the things that he's doing. He was willing to scout the Indians for the money. He's willing to do the off-the-book stuff for the doc. I mean, he's willing to stand on his own 2 feet, having the freedom that he's always wanted. So we're going to go over to Lily. Lily has found a way, fortunately, to talk herself into Season 2. The doc asked her to show up to a party because she wants her to start to become more of the face of the Hell on Wheels project. Well, she says yes, but in return, he has to let her stay on to see the whole railroad finished. He, of course, sees an opportunity and says yes, makes total sense. And during the dance, though, she doesn't really seem to be anywhere interested in the doc, as she's shown before at other occasions. But this time she's actually looking around for Bohannon, who is nowhere to be found except just for a few seconds at the end. And you kind of see this level of disappointment on her face when he didn't really show up. So now let's actually just focus more on the doc and the Swede, because they have an interesting new friendship that we learned. The doc only told Bohannon about what the Swede was doing because he wanted Bohannon to leave, to keeping Lily all for himself, which that makes total sense. But unfortunately for the Swede, after he returns from disappearing for a while, he actually brings back the sergeant. That's at least what we know him as. And apparently he was the guy who was at the raping and killing of Bohannon's wife. But now, since the doc told Bohannon what the Swede was doing, now, he's coming after the sergeant, which messed up Swede's plan to properly get Bohannon arrested. So the doc, he's finished. The Swede runs into a problem of his own as Bohannon starts looking for the sergeant. The sergeant runs off and tries to hide, and the Swede, walking down one of the streets, gets kind of cornered by the McGinnis brothers, and out of the blue, it's like everybody who was just innocent bystanders all of a sudden jumps on the Swede, ties him up, strips him down, and then literally tars and feathers him. And that's how we see him. He's kind of running down one of the streets, and it's him with tar and feather and a whole mob of people running after him. And Bohannon kind of looks at him oddly, and one of the Guinness brothers kind of nods to Bohannon as this whole chaos is happening. But Bohannon is focused. He knows what he's come to do. He's come to get the sergeant. So he finally sees the sergeant sneaking around, runs over to him. There's this quick little chase scene past a train. Bohannon stumbles, loses his gun, and the sergeant says, hey, look, I wasn't there and I have proof. But Bohannon, being too heated, doesn't really want to hear anything. The guy gets too close. Bohannon puts his hands around the guy's neck and holds it until there is literally no air left. The guy dies right beside the train tracks, and that's when Bohannon sees a note in his pocket. He opens it up and he sees it's actually a letter from the government about him actually being on disability leave. So he may have been a sergeant, but he wasn't the sergeant. So with him telling the Swede that, him telling Bohannon that he wasn't there, apparently we learned that he knew about it. He knew the people who had did it, but he wasn't the one that was actually there. So now with this, he's now on a run. The federals show up who were supposed to arrest Bohannon on the murder of the other issue, is now looking for him even more because now he killed a totally innocent man. I gotta admit, when it's all said and done, since again this is the last episode of the season, I still feel as if episode 8 should have been episode 9, and episode 9 should have been episode 10. Because now after seeing this episode, this feels like it's starting off something. You have the main chase scene that's about to begin, aka let's say you have like with the Breakout Kings, you have someone breaking out of prison and now you have to go find him. That's how it feels like on this episode. With Bohannon now on the run, the Swede now getting ready to leave since everybody here now totally disrespects him, and after the tar and feathering, you have Lily's new adventure of now being on with the rest of the project, the Doc now having a chance to get Lily all to himself, and Elam now having more power and money, than he could really think of. It really feels like they're now building a storyline. Episode 8 and episode 9, though, had the huge fight scene between the Indians at the end, and then they had the huge revelation between the characters with the Doc with the Doc telling Bohannon about him needing to leave, the stuff that's going on, with Elam finally saying, you should be mine. That's how they should have left it. And that season 10 should have been the first episode of season 2. Well, it is great that they are going to have a second season coming out later this fall, and I definitely can't wait to start watching the return of The Walking Dead. That's going to be great. AMC is doing a really good job with The Killing, The Walking Dead, Hell on Wheels, and of course Mad Men. But again, outside of Mad Men, it's really nice to see them actually pushing the bar on a different level. So please feel free to leave your comments down below on what your thoughts are about the show, and what do you expect to see in the new season. My name is Sean Andrew with the TV Show Review, and this has been a review of Hell on Wheels, Season 1, Episode 10, God of Chaos. See ya.